Everyone, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the brutal truths of SEO. And as a creator myself, I know the effects that it can take on us when we get hit by a Google core algorithm update or we just don't have control of these type of things that's going on in the world. This is going to be more of a relaxed video. I have a lot of talking points because I can ramble on and on about business and SEO. Hopefully this will help me. So first of all, if you don't know me, my name is Eddie. I am a blogging coach. I do SEO. I have 2 YouTube channels and I have one in credit repair. And I also run 2 websites. So I feel like I have a little bit of information to provide to you, and that is just a service to, I think, how I can help in this entire process. You guys can take it or leave it, but I've been blogging for over 4 years now. I've worked for a blogging community by Adam Enfroy. So I'm really lucky enough to know who's winning and who's losing in this process. I've seen a ton of different websites. I've audited over 1,000 people's sites. I really feel like I can provide some kind of information to you here in this video. Again, it's gonna be a very long one, so feel free to sit tight, drink a coffee with me while we're going over this. All right, so number one, you can lose everything overnight, and that is a hard pill to swallow, but solely relying on organic search from Google can be really risky. And I know that's like taught, hey, put your focus on one traffic source at a time. But at the end of the day, in this world where things are evolving super fast, where we have AI tools, there's no reason for you to not supplement your blog with a YouTube channel or some type of short form content or somewhere where you can just, again, diversify your traffic. People are going to Pinterest, Facebook pages. They're using other mediums such as LinkedIn blogs. I mean, there's so many different places where you can publish your content or even repurpose it. I think that the people that are winning are the ones that are diversifying. And I'm not saying to stop blogging because I'm doing it every day and I'm still working on my blog. I still believe in SEO because I believe that people are constantly searching for things and we need to answer those searches. There is a way to rank your videos on Google SERPs. So I just wanted to bring this out because, again, even if you lose everything overnight, if you have like a YouTube channel, you're able to publish content on YouTube and you can actually rank your YouTube videos on the first page of Google. So for example, I have this screenshot here of a recent video I did on YouTube on how to find trending topics with AI. Now, this video is ranking on the first page of Google and it's for the video. So it gets about 15% of its views from SEO, from Google's traffic source. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to create a video and take over the real estate or digital real estate on Google by creating a YouTube video. I can guarantee you that if you just put some effort into it, press record and just try it out, you never know what's going to happen. All right, so the next thing is the Google Core update and spam update of March 2024. We're currently ongoing. It's still happening right now as of making of this video. So I'm excited to see the changes that will happen in the next few weeks. But unfortunately, it has been a huge mess in my opinion. Google, anyone from Google watching this, I'm just letting you know, you guys need to reply to those Twitter and X comments. It's pretty messy right now. Honestly, sites are getting clapped is what everyone's saying. And the great clapping is happening because basically they're just disappearing or getting de-indexed. The problem is, and about most of them are happening, is manually. I saw a tweet from Spencer Hawes from Niche Pursuits. He said, if Google's algorithm is so good, why do they have to manually de-index sites? And that hit me so hard. I was like, wait a minute, that is so true. If Google's algorithm is so amazing, why are sites getting de-indexed manually? And I kept thinking about it. And I kept thinking about it, and I just don't think they have it down yet. Even if this algorithm update's happening, I'm truly hoping that, it changes. The algorithm changes, things get better. They say that it can take more than a few weeks. And the spam update, they're giving people that do parasite SEO until May to fix their issues and problems that, that they might have other people's content on their website. I'm thinking that, it's really messy right now. And there's people getting in the crossfire, meaning there's other websites that are actually truly okay and good, and they're getting affected by this entire algorithm update. And unfortunately, that happens in business. Established sites are not immune to the update's effects. Even if you're doing everything right, you could be affected, and that's very unfortunate. But if you know that your content is helpful, relevant, and original, you shouldn't worry too much, because later in a few weeks, maybe even tomorrow, your site could be right back where it was or skyrocket. So one of the biggest things that I've noticed that sites that weren't affected were the ones that had more branded searches. So, for example, my website, eddiebaye.com, I have a YouTube channel that you're watching. If people are typing in Eddie Baye or Eddie Ballesteros on Google and they find my website through search, that is considered a brand search. And I think that Google picks up those signals. So, whether you have a business brand or a personal brand, you want to build that to the highest potential and get people to search for you. Again, we also noticed that any websites that sell a product or service didn't get as hit or demolished from the Google SERPs. So if you have some type of e-commerce product, if you have some type of service that you're selling, you probably didn't get affected. And if you did, then you could be missing something within your schema. So make sure that you have all of that connected properly. So the next one is a topic that most people really argue about. It's like 50% here, 50% there. But AI content is not the enemy, but it's how you use it, why it matters. So Google is against AI generated spam, meaning you don't want to be publishing 50 to 100 articles per day. That is the worst idea in the world. I 100% believe in my SEO heart that if you're publishing 100 or 50 articles per day, those are going to be the worst articles I have ever seen. They're not going to be fact checked. They're not going to be human edited. It's going to just contain a lot of issues and errors. And you could see that you'll rank for, the first few months, and then your entire traffic can get de-indexed. There's no reason to do that. So if you're caught, you will be manually penalized and de-indexed. If you're not caught, only expect to be ranking for a little bit of time, and then who's going to update all those articles? Like, are you going to go back and update all of those really bad articles a year from now or 6 months from now? So I just think it's like a short-term win, and I don't recommend doing that many articles in one day or even in a month if you're just a solo blog. So one thing that I always recommend, because I use AI, and I have a video of how I use AI for blogging, but you want to always edit your content, and you want to use AI as an assistant, meaning you're using it for your outlines, keyword research, any kind of ideation. You can use it for grading your content, and you can also use it to do very small rewrites. So if you have like 4 sentences and you feel like it doesn't flow properly, you can use that to help you restructure those 4 sentences and even contain a keyword. So that's kind of how I'm using AI right now. You always want to add in your own experiences, your opinions, and you also want to provide as much insight or information gain to your content. So information gain is a place where you're adding new information that isn't on the internet yet for that specific article or topic that you're creating content about. And that could be a really good way to kind of build trust with your audience. And I think it's a really good thing to include in your content. The next thing is you always want to answer the search intent early on in an article. So if I have an example here from Market Watch, and they have pretty good articles. They saw like a pretty decent increase in traffic. But if you see here, they have an article on how to sell a car for parts, and they have a decent intro, and then they have a key takeaway section. In this review, they're telling you what they're doing, how they're doing it. They're answering the user intent early on, and they even have a little snippet here at the very top. I think this is a good example of like how you should answer user queries. So you have like a little key takeaway section. You can even have a little snippet at the very top here, and you can feel like you trust this article, right? Because they have a writer, they have a senior editor, they have a partner with Carvana. So just looking at this post, I can 100% trust it. It is helpful. It gives me the user intent early on. It's in the intro, and they have a ton of different information that I can follow here. So that's just one example of how I would recommend answering the intent early on. Okay, so moving on to another thing here. I think that Google EAT or EEAT does matter in the long run, and it's gonna make or break our websites in the future. Meaning, I think it's really, really important to follow these principles. And the first thing I wanna say here is that EAT is not a direct ranking factor, but it's just principles that you should follow. Google has stated that they are not ranking factors. But I think if you follow these 4 principles, you will be able to win in the long run. So for anyone who doesn't know, Google EAT stands for expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Expertise is basically your knowledge and skills in a subject matter. Your experience is your real world experience on the topic. Your authoritativeness is the reputation and influence of you and your website, meaning, yes, branded searches. Your trustworthiness is the accuracy, transparency, and reliability of your content and website. So when I think of E, and for the people that are doing it correctly, I think of those, let's say you're talking to a friend, like thinking outside of an SEO mindset. You're talking to a friend and you ask them, hey, what kind of website do you go to find your information from? Some people will say, hey, I go to Reddit, or hey, I go to johnsmith.com. That guy knows so much about fitness, and he knows a lot about protein. So I go to him to find my protein information and where I buy my products. He has really good reviews. There's always going to be someone there, or a place where people review and get information from, whether it's YouTube. They're usually following a brand or someone when it comes to like getting products or product recommendations. So I think if you follow all of these things here, you're gonna win in the long run. And yes, guys, I know before you put it in the comments, because of the core algorithm update that's ongoing, the SERPs is still really messy. Because I'm currently seeing, Forbes on the top of Google for everything. We're seeing CNET. We're seeing news websites ranking about best mattresses to sleep on for bad backs. And I've seen a lot of tweets from really big players like Mike, Spencer, and I also believe that there's a lot of issues on the SERPs right now. But I do believe that it's going to get fixed somehow. And if it doesn't, well, I think that's going to be a huge loss for Google. So I wanted to showcase some actionable tips to showcase E. So first of all, cite reputable sources and link to authoritative resources to support your content. What I mean by this is that your information on your website, you should have internal links throughout your own articles, but you still need to link out to authoritative resources outside of your website. This not only helps you as the blogger, but it's going to look more trustworthy that you're linking out to other sources and it looks like you did your research. So you also want to showcase your expertise through case studies, testimonials, and branded searches. Again, Google doesn't read this specific part of your article, but your visitors will. But I think that you should always, like, right after the quick intro, you should say, hey, I am a professional, or I'm an expert in XYZ topic. I have my credentials on XYZ. So I think showing your expertise for your visitor is going to truly help. Or if you have some type of like buyer's guide, or, your editorial guidelines for your content, I think showcasing that is going to build trust with your audience. You want to keep your content accurate, up to date, and free of errors or misleading information. So Google loves content freshness. So meaning that you need to go back to your old articles and you need to skim through them. You need to edit and fact check your old articles. And if there's anything that's not doesn't sound right, or maybe you were just starting out when you wrote the article and you think that it's terrible, you might want to go ahead and revamp that post, beef it up, make it look better, add more images, add more videos, and go from there. Next up is don't write about everything under the sun. So you want to focus on topical authority. So focusing on topical authority is essentially focusing on one subtopic at a time, meaning if you're talking about sports, you should focus on one specific sport, and that could be, let's say, pickleball. And then within pickleball, you want to focus on writing in a subcluster of pickleball. So that could be pickleball paddles. So you could write everything under the sun in pickleball paddles. And that could be, how to swing, how to play, how to fix your pickleball paddle, how to replace it. What are the best pickleball paddles for kids, for men, for women, for, seniors. So find everything under the sun in a subtopic and then move on to another topic. I've explained this many times, but building like a topical map of or your content plan is going to be really helpful when you're doing this process. So another thing here is prioritize quality over quantity and avoid producing thin or irrelevant content. Google is pretty good at the search intent of the search, right? Meaning if you're looking for what are the best coffee mugs for the house or for guests, if you type that into search, Google will basically show you everything that's going to be about coffee mugs for guests. So that's terrible wordplay there, but that's how it works. Another thing is you want to include author bylines and bios to highlight your expertise and experience so readers can come back to you as the go-to source. again, I think this is another reason why building that trust factor is really important. This is going to really show your visitors that you are a credible author or editor and website owner. So I think this is really important when it comes to Google Eat Raters. Next up, you want to focus on user experience. I think that Google prioritizes websites that provide a positive user experience. The user engagement signals can include dwell time, bounce rate, and pages per session. If someone clicks on your website and they aren't satisfied with clicking on your site and they don't find any of the information that they were looking for based on the search and they leave your page immediately, the bounce rate is going to be very, very low or very high actually. So you don't want that to happen, because that kind of shows Google, hey, this page that we showed up on the search did not answer the user's query. Then this article is technically deemed unhelpful, right? So if you're thinking about those things, you want to see how you can improve your page experience by adding specific elements to your page, such as quizzes, forms, calculators, product boxes, so they can get their answer quickly, key takeaways. You want to think about all of those things and how you can add that to your page. And I'll leave some examples in the description below of my own site and other sites that I think do really well with elements. So someone I like to follow is Detailed SEO, which is Glenn. He has a term coined as the super pixels, and this is how you can increase your dwell time, your bounce rate, and your pages per session. So Glenn also from detail.com, he has a really good course on super pixels and creating really beautifully designed elements to keep people on the page longer. Next up, again, you want to just optimize your entire website. You want to optimize your images. You want to minify code and leverage browser caching. So all of this can happen with a caching plugin if you're on WordPress. Most CMS platforms have a caching system in place. So you want to make sure that those are optimized so you can minimize any lag time or code. Next up, you can use tools like Clarity or Plausible to track your user engagement signals, meaning these tools, you place a little code into your website of your header or footer. Then this will start tracking clicks, the visitors, when they're dropping off, where are they going on your page. This will help you understand where you should add these elements. You also want to identify pages with really high bounce rates or low dwell times and optimize them for better engagement. When you're updating these articles, you want to first focus on the ones that have the worst bounce rate and also very low page per session views. So focus on those things, and I can almost guarantee that we'll see some kind of increase or boost in position. Now, one thing I want to say here too is that try everything that you can when it comes to fixing your website, but do it one step at a time. If you fix or remove too many things at once, you won't know what the problem was. So just take your time by fixing one thing at a time, but try to fix as much as you can. And that will be insanely helpful when it comes to any algorithm update or improving your pages and auditing your website. You can use Screaming Frog or Sitebulb to help you audit your site. If you have Ahrefs, you can use Ahrefs as well. So here's my last talking point. So I think the future of SEO is very unpredictable right now. And I'm going to say right now that you want to adapt to SEO changes while staying true to core principles. Meaning, when I'm thinking of core principles, I'm thinking that your content is always going to be helpful, relevant, and it's going to always be for the user. There's going to be a little bit of search engine optimization involved. That's just the name of the game. I'm sorry, but that you just have to have that some way, shape, or form on your site. But you always want to adapt to SEO changes. You want to keep up with Google's algorithm updates. You can follow their pages on Twitter or X. You can follow other SEOs in the industry and find out what's going on so you can always stay up to date with your SEO. You want to stay in a specific niche that allows you to establish authority and build trust with your audience. Again, focus on topical authority. Go into a topic until you cannot write about it anymore. Build an email list. So I want to say that one more time. Build a freaking email list, because this is going to be an asset for you. And this is where you can send your audience to other platforms. You keep your audience. You can sell them things. You can build a community. You can talk to them. You can build rapport in an email list. So I use ConvertKit. I think ConvertKit is the all-time best for SEOs and bloggers. But if not, if you just want to have a newsletter and keep your people updated, you can use a tool like Beehive. I think what I want to say is that I hope that Google will continue improving its algorithm to serve its users better, reward quality content, and I really want Google to make it a win-win for publishers, visitors, and their own search algorithm. There's no reason to do all these crazy changes and mess everything up. I know that they're trying to fix the spam, they're trying to fix parasite SEO and expired domains, but I'm really hoping that they truly solve these issues. And I'm going to continue doing SEO. I'm going to continue writing about content. I'm not going to give up on my own sites. I 100% believe that I think things are going to turn around and that the grass is going to be greener on the other side. So if you're watching this and you've been affected by the algorithm update, I hope that this was a useful video for you. As you guys know, I create content around SEO, YouTube, and other social media platforms as a creator and business owner. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if this served you in some way. If you have any questions, drop them there and I can reply to every single comment. If you guys want to learn how to start a blog from scratch, you can also watch this video up next and go from there. Thank you.